Hello everyone, welcome. And today I want to talk about a foundation for shadow work or emotional trauma related, somatic, all those words related to healing our psychology. And that's very enmeshed with our body. And I want to present a foundation for that. Now, I'm no psychologist, and I don't have any expertise in this stuff. I can only go off my own experience when it comes to this stuff. But I want to present a foundation which stops us getting stuck in the psychological work trap. And I say there's a trap because it can become a fixation. And this is not an advocate against it, but it's to point out a fixation that can arise with emotional work. And this fixation is something's wrong with me and I need to be healed. And that's the sort of foundation that a lot of shadow emotional work is built upon. And there's this belief that we get to this place psychologically where we're healed, which is also another trap. It's the same trap we fall for in all aspects, right? In the spiritual thing, I'm not awake. I need to wake up, or I don't have enough yet. I need to gain more to feel at peace. And the same with the psychological, somatic shadow workplace, like facet of awakening, which is deeply important. You can't really miss it. And if you are taking this path with integrity and you're really going in and doing the deep inquiry, you won't be able to ignore shadow work at one point. But it doesn't have to be as painful, because there's a strong aspect of us that we may find, which is common, that we don't feel like we're good enough. We don't feel like we're enough as we are. And call it unworthiness. And this becomes a foundation for our life, this deep sense of unworthiness. And I'm not going to approach that today, though what I'm talking about will brush upon it. But going into shadow work with the mindset, I need to fix and heal myself because I'm broken, or I have all this pain I need to heal, as I stated before, sets us up for this trap of looking for healing in the future. But the framework I want to propose for moving into shadow work is how deeply can I love myself and extend that to the world. And this is aligned with, which usually happens beforehand, or people do shadow work before, but usually when there's a recognition of presence as our essence, as we see ourselves beyond the mind. And from that place of recognition, we don't jump back into the mind as like, okay, I've got all this shadow work and things to heal. It's like, okay, at the core there seems to be this presence, empty, luminous presence. And that's inkling is to bring that nature into the body, into the human experience. It's the embodiment side of waking up, which for me is essential, because we can hide within presence and kind of watch emotions and stuff, and that may work for a time, but eventually stagnation usually arises. But there's this point where we have to move towards life, towards the emotions, and we usually get pulled, or we just can't ignore them anymore. Well, that was my experience. I just noticed that, I would say, the just awareness wasn't satisfying anymore, and that's because its inkling is to move into life, and its inkling its position is, how deeply can I love everything? And from its position, it has a nature of unconditional love, which we could call awakening of the heart. And this doesn't always open up after a sort of initial shift, but it's in us. We all sort of have, I could say, a well, to use like a metaphor, of unconditional love inside of us, that we can use to move through shadow work from this place of unconditional love. And maybe I can hopefully point to this love. And because it's a different facet, there's, to break it, like, to sort of, there's a shift where, okay, I'm not my mind, I'm not my thoughts. Right? These are all appearances that we start to recognize. Oh, there's something else. There's a presence here. There's something here that's very, that's beyond words. In this moment, I can feel there's a feeling of that. You could call that the shift. I'm not these thoughts. I am that. And initially, as I said, that feels great, but to open up to this, to the heart of it, can happen through shadow work. But hopefully I can try to touch upon it, because it's quite, unconditional love is quite very simple. And I would say an aspect of it is seeing without judgment. When we look out into the world, when we look at our own emotions, our own pain, when we look at those without judging them, without trying to push them away, right? Without calling them negative, without calling them bad, without resistance, I would call that love, or unconditional love, because it's in the seeing that it's freed, and in the judgment that it's kind of pushed away, hidden, or tried to be fixed. It doesn't mean that we move and we don't process, but we're approaching the process from a foundation of everything's already okay. And I want to essentially merge with it through witnessing sensations, emotions, feelings. Through just witnessing without judgment, we essentially allow them to process, right? And this can get intense, and then essentially merge with them, right? Because we were never separate from them. It's like we kind of greet them all. We greet each emotion as it's a visitor, right? And we greet it with love and silence. And see, this is it's a very different foundation. We're developed, and we can just do this. We can practice this all the time. It's just because humans were judgmental, right? We usually are judging things, whether it's other people or whether it's our own lives, usually ourselves. I didn't perform as well as I could have today at work. I said this stupid thing. Where we're so critical of ourselves. And we can just experiment with, okay, maybe for 5 minutes or 10 minutes on my card, I'm just not going to judge anything that's going on. And I'm going to pretend or act as if everything's okay. And we notice through bouncing between that, you'll start to notice you like the everything okay aspect. And this is subtle, and we don't want to use it to like avoid things. Because if we're saying, oh, yeah, everything's okay, but I'm pushing it away, it's like we're not really saying everything's okay. But if there's something to take from this, I know it may have been a bit scattered, but to see is to love. To fully witness without judgment, that's love, that's compassion, that's understanding. And that's how simple it can be. And don't worry, there's not feelings of bliss and love and stuff. Like, those things may arise, but it's not about that. It's not about what you get out of it. It's just about witnessing. But not a detached witness. It's almost an understanding, compassionate witness that moves forward. That when you witness, you see emotion so clearly without judgment that there's no separation. You essentially merge, which is already the case, but that mind barrier of perceived distance isn't there anymore because you're loving everything so deeply. And this can be a superpower for emotional work, because stuff can come up, and instead of judging, resisting, pushing away, it's just stuff comes up, and we witness it. And then, we move forward. How deeply can I love this? And it's not always going to be flawless. We're going to resist. And I'm not talking about a dissociative witnessing as well. It's a witnessing, but there's a compassion, there's an understanding, and there's a love to it, and a moving towards. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.